Polynesia.
Hello. Look what I've got. I've got my tea.
Amazing, it arrives. That is fantastic.
I've just got to wait for it. I've got to wait for it to cook.
Okay, perfect.
How are
That was going to
you?
be my first question. Yeah, we're good. We're good. No, good. We've got kind of like slightly changeable weather at the moment. So we've got kind of fairly big conditions, which they're starting to push us a bit further north than maybe we'd like, but we're making the most of it. It's not too bad. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine. I just think it's really weird. I was talking to your pal in Glasgow and the signal was terrible, and it's much better than you're bobbing about. Where are you? Are you at the French Polynesian Islands that we're saying? Are you past there?
I think we're nearly past it now, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so we passed. I think the last of the French Polynesian islands is an island called Motu One, which I think we passed that about probably about 5 days ago now. So we're now we're aiming for an island called Palmerston Island, which is I'm not sure what it's actually part of. Whether it's because I think it's too far out to be part of French Polynesia anymore. So, but anyway, the next aim is. We're aiming towards kind of American Samoa and Tonga, the next on the destination list of places that we wish we could stop, but we're just rowing past.
You have to go past. Oh no! How are you though? How's your hands? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Hands are okay. I don't know if you can see.
Oh geez,
They get kind of
see.
Yeah.
God, look at
It's
that.
especially
That
when they get wet. It's and they're not. I mean, they're hardening up definitely. Like the first kind of. Yeah, I'd say the first month was quite bad, and it was I think particularly because we had really wet weather. But yeah, no, it's we're kind of getting used to it. We've had kind of generally speaking, physically, it's astonishing what the body can kind of handle, what it can kind of adapt to. Because I think we're all physically feeling actually really good. So, we've got some small blisters, but no aches and pains or anything like that, which is quite remarkable to be honest. Because we're rowing for hours and hours each day.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't. And I can see the sea in the background. It's not exactly calm. I mean, how bad does it get? How bad does it all get there in the waves? God.
It probably. I mean, this is probably a bit bigger than the kind of average, I'd say.
Right.
So we're probably at the moment, I'd say we're probably between 2 and 3 meters swell.
Right.
I think we've probably we've seen it up to about 4 or 5, probably for like individual waves. Which that's when it gets pretty spicy. I think from here to Australia, that's where we're certainly expecting the weather to be like a little bit less consistent, and we'll have days where it's just absolutely massive, and we're holding on for dear life. I must apologize. David's just preparing the. He's preparing.
Hello.
Hello. I've got my tea. I've got my tea as well.
Hey, snap! I was busy in the kitchen.
It's actually horrible.
Oh no!
No, it's not. No. Let me try.
We were gonna say that the ruby chickens. So we save these for special occasions and
It's
royalty.
really good.
Yeah. It's not. Certainly by our standards, it's pretty good, but the standard out here is pretty low. So
no, I know. I mean, it doesn't look very good.
No,
but
it doesn't.
It actually tastes really, really nice. I'm impressed.
I suppose.
So who put all this
curries
together?
are obviously.
I'll tell you what. It might be a bit too much of a mission, but if you've got a spot of mango chutney, goes down a treat.
That would make all the difference. In the world. So is this what you're basically? Oh my goodness me, that was a big wave. Is this this is what you're living on then? All of these different little guys, you just put boiling water in them.
Exactly. Yeah. So these are actually. So we made about 50% of the food that we've got. We home cooked, which was quite an experience in itself, trying to cook like 1,800 meals. But we're really glad we did, because the store-bought stuff, it's expensive, but it also doesn't taste great after a few weeks.
So fed up with it.
Oh no,
But
it's good. It's the way ahead. I'm thinking to myself,
it's the way I
it's definitely
Totally.
the way ahead, especially the curry one. This is great. But where on
We've
earth do
been,
you store it all? I mean, I know it's quite light when before you put the water in it, it's quite light. But have you
yeah.
been able to just put all of this in whereabouts in the boat?
Yeah, so you can't. Can you see? So there's like you can get if we move it to the side, either
Oh
sides of
yeah.
Lala. There's a number of like
Oh
hatches, the red
yeah.
hatches.
Right.
So usually, I mean, these boats, those hatches would be big enough to, if you were doing the Atlantic, you'd probably be able to store all of your food in those. But for us, because we were, we had to pack for about 150 days worth, which is just it's so much food when you see it all stacked up there. Because we're obviously eating like, I mean, we're having between 5,000 and 6,000 calories a day. So
You have to.
we're yeah, and if you, I did a calculation the other day. I think we're eating about a year's worth of calories if you like relate it to the 2,000 calories a day, whatever. But yeah, each of us about a year's worth of calories. So it's a huge amount in that time.
God,
And when
that's crazy.
we left, we left Lima, and the boat was just. I mean, the cabins were stacked right up to the roof. I mean, you couldn't move. You'd squeeze into the cabin, and everything was kind of packed around you. So you're in there like a sardine.
Oh
Yeah, it's
gee.
quite. We've eaten through a lot of it though.
It's progressively getting marginally better. There is a little bit
Right.
more room. The boat's a
And do
little
you
bit
not?
high. Oh,
Yeah.
on you
Do you
go.
not get seasick though? Have you not had any funny tummies? I mean, that must be great fun.
We did that. We did. Thankfully, it passed. But for the first 2 weeks, because it's a funny thing, seasickness, because you can't really predict if some people definitely get seasick, some people definitely don't. But sort of the in between. So on the Atlantic 5 years ago, Ewan and I, we were seasick on the first night of our crossing, for about 6 hours, and it passed. And so we were
Right.
sort of anticipating something similar, but the seasickness just wouldn't. We just couldn't shrug it off, and it took about 2 weeks. And thankfully, we could still eat and hydrate a bit, so we weren't
Right.
completely wiped. But you hear horror stories about people who get chronic seasickness, and the
Oh yeah.
unfortunate reality is you have to hit sort of the Mayday rescue, because
Oh geez.
um,
If it gets that bad,
just
well you
just because
would.
especially if you're not getting enough water, and if you're not hydrating and getting electrolytes on, it can
Sure.
get quite dangerous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You talked there about water. I think it's awful important because we never, I mean, we obviously talked about it when you were on the telly with me in the morning, but a lot of people have just asked, why you decided to do this for that particular charity, what
Yeah,
difference it's going to make to people. And
yeah.
really, I guess that's what keeps you going. But how, when you've done this, and I know you will, if you could maybe tell us what a difference that's going to make.
Yeah, so we've started to kind of map that out. We've got a delivery partner that works in Madagascar called Feedback Madagascar, and they've got a big team of local staff. So really, the funding is going towards working with that charity in Madagascar in a particular region called Antananarivo. Sorry, no, in Ambohi Mahamasna, which is kind of
Right.
a municipality, and yeah, the impact is. Well, it's looking towards potentially serving up to hopefully over 40,000 people, which is the around the population of Mboe Masna.
Right.
And that's, I mean, these numbers will be totally wrong because it was an early early assessment before we left, just to give us an idea of what we were looking at. And it was looking at about 97 villages, 33 schools, and 3 health centres. So putting in basically a borehole to each of those locations.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's a it's a funny cause because it's one that we take, especially in Scotland, we take it for granted so
We do.
easily. You
You're
don't
so
even think
right.
about like having, turning on the tap in the morning and using the loo, showering, like all these different things. But
So abstract,
so
yeah.
fundamental.
And it was
Yeah.
abstract to us initially as well. We rewinding back again 5 years ago to when we rode the Atlantic. Initially when we signed up to do that, it was trying to do something remarkable, the three of us together, that experience. But you soon learn the capacity of a big road like the Atlantic or like this to raise a huge amount of money for a good cause. So we settled on clean water. But even then, you know, we were raising funds for clean water. It was still abstract. Like we hadn't seen firsthand the impact that having or not having clean water has on people's lives. And it was only really after our Atlantic crossing that, you know, we went out to Madagascar. We've since been out a couple of times and seen the projects firsthand, seen, you know, a village that has the difference between a village that has clean water and one that doesn't is just the contrast couldn't be greater. You know, it's and fun. Really, it boils down to the kids. The kids are the most impacted by it all.
No,
And then
absolutely.
over the last few years, you know, we set up the Maclean Foundation, and over the last few years, we've educated ourselves about, you know, the importance of clean water and the amazing catalytic effect it can have on people's lives. You know, it's not just clean water. It's clean water and so much more. It impacts health, education, livelihoods, conservation, women's rights. You know, all areas of life. It's such a fundamental building block for life to prosper. And I
And I
think
guess
that
that's what keeps you going when it's hard. That's when, you know,
massively,
you just think to yourself
massively.
about those wee kids and you just think, right, okay, I'm just going to somehow get some energy back. I can see
Yeah.
the horizon. My God, it's going up and down. It's going into Wales. I honestly, you guys
I
will be
hope it doesn't
miserable.
make you feel seasick.
No, not at all. I can't believe that you're smiling and laughing and looking so healthy.
It's the curry. It's the curry.
It is. It's your tea. It's your
It's
tea.
the thing. I was probably ready
Yeah.
then.
No,
We're
it's
rocking on.
good. I think it's really good. But I mean, you three, I said this to you before. You're obviously really good pals. You're brothers, but you're really good pals as well. Because do you not drive each other mad, or do you just kind of you just don't fight or quarrel or get on each other's nerves?
Very glad you get that impression. We try to put on a good face whenever we're on, you know, on video. No, we do. There hasn't been, thankfully, no one's been forced to walk the plank as of yet.
Oh,
But you know,
it's the same thing.
there's still a
I
good
think
month left.
yeah. We'll just stay. I'll just
Oh,
hope it'll come back. Yeah, I've got you
oh,
back. I've got you back. I've got you back. Thank
oh, you
goodness.
back.
That's great.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, for goodness, I can't believe that we've got a signal in the middle of bobbing around in the Pacific Ocean. When do you think you're going to get to Sydney? Have you got an idea of when you're going to get there? Or do you not sure yet?
It's tough to say. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how we do over the next 10 days, I'd say,
Right.
because I think we're in a region which is kind of known as the South Pacific Convergence Zone, and you've got the trade winds that come in from the east that meet a lot of swell that comes up from the south in this kind
Right.
of particular area. We've got 1,000 miles or so of this, and that could mean that if we're unlucky, we get pushed really far north, and we could have days sitting on para anchor, or we could have lots of weather going with us. So I think it will depend a lot on how that does, and I think even down to whether we even make it, whether we're even going to be able to get to Sydney. Even that's kind of a bit of an unknown. We're really hoping for it, but it's the contingency, I guess, is maybe Brisbane or something like that.
Oh,
But I
geez,
think
yeah. Just get to Australia, for God's sake. That'll be an amazing achievement. That'll be astonishing. It really will. I mean, it must be. You know, I just wonder, do you ever sort of end up back where you were, depending on how the winds are and how the sea is? You know, it's just. And I'm just wondering how you're bobbing around there, but have you got good satellite and things so you know where you are?
absolutely. Yeah, I think so. So for being a team, we have the benefit that we always there's always someone on the oars. At any one moment, there's always someone rowing. So through the
Right,
night, even if you've got big conditions, you can kind of. It depends on how much against it is against you. It is rather. But generally speaking, we can hold a forward course and keep the boat moving in the right direction.
right.
It's for solo rowers, they have a really tough time because they obviously go to bed and sometimes wake up and they've gone back, more miles than they
Oh,
travelled
that
that
would be.
day.
Oh, could you imagine? I mean, that would be absolutely soul destroying. That would be terrible to do
Totally.
that. How do you keep yourselves amused? Like when you're not. I know obviously you're rowing all the time. If you're not rowing, you're sleeping or you're preparing your meals or whatever. But do you ever get a time
Oh,
where?
sorry,
Or I
Lorraine,
wonder.
we lost you for a second
Oh,
there.
listen, don't worry. I wonder if there was a. Do you get time just to look out at the ocean? Do you get time to yourself? And I just wonder about that. Can you, or are you always on the go all the time?
No, yeah, you get the occasional moments, but you know it's funny when you're not rowing. It's almost like being on the oars is the simplest and almost the easiest thing to do when on
Right.
a boat like this. Just because when you're not rowing, it's just to be honest, it's just uncomfortable everywhere. Like there's no proper seats. There's nothing to lean on that's not moving, and there's always boat chores. So there's always little jobs that we've got to get on with, like cleaning solar panels or making food or making water or there's or sorting out stuff or it just and especially in conditions like this, you'll sway side to side. You
Yeah.
do get
Yeah.
the occasional moment of stillness and peace where you kind of watch the sunrise or sunset and
Yeah.
you have to pinch yourself. We're incredibly lucky to be out here in the first place. So
Amazing.
we recognize that, but you do get those very special moments of complete I suppose like serenity. I suppose it would be.
Yeah, I guess it would be. What's it like at night time? What's the sky like? Because you've got no light pollution, I suppose.
Yeah, not at all. And it's quite bizarre because we're obviously in the southern hemisphere. The
Yeah.
stars are just totally different from what we're used to in the UK. So you see the Big Dipper and it's upside down and it's over kind of on the wrong side. And then
Yeah.
to the south, you've got this. I mean, the southern hemisphere benefit of having the Milky Way really, really. I mean, it's so obvious.
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
And I had one night where I counted in my kind of one of my rowing shifts. I think I had 13 shooting stars, which were kind of shooting across the sky.
Wow.
So yeah, you get some
That'd be
amazing,
amazing.
amazing
Oh,
times.
wow. That'd be
Quite a lot of
incredible.
the time, it's quite unpleasant though, to be honest, because you're trying to stay awake, and there's nothing
Yeah.
worse than trying to fight back. It's like kind of driving when you're falling, you feel like you're falling asleep. It's a kind of
Mm,
sort of feeling of you're really
yeah.
trying to kind of keep with it.
Jeez.
But yeah.
Crikey. And are you getting enough sleep? I mean, how do you just kind of snatch sleep whenever you can, or if you got I suppose you've got a rota, but I just
Yeah.
wondered if you can sleep.
Yeah, we do. We've got a routine, and so generally speaking, you're doing 2 solo shifts on your own at night that last about an hour and 40, and then either side of them, you've got between a 2.5 and 3 hour sleep. By the time
Right.
you actually hunker down, and
Mm,
do you sleep? It's the sleep is subpar to say the least. We
yeah.
all we all suffer from this thing that we've started calling dress rehearsals, where just because our body's sort of on a cycle of 90 minutes, as it were. So you wake up even on your longer sleep after an hour or 90 minutes. You're very sort of confused as to where you are, what the time is. So you end up putting all your clothes in and put your harness on. You come out, and lo and behold, the person on the oar's like, "What are you doing? You silly! Get back to bed. You've got another like 2 hours." And
Oh, jeez.
there's times that Ewan's been like a jack in a box.
Yeah, I've done it like 2 or 3 times.
He's just like springing out the cabin every 20 minutes.
It's so annoying because you realize obviously you're like, I've just had less sleep than I could have had in, and I don't have much sleep as it is. It's so frustrating.
God. And are you really smelly and horrible, or are you, or can you
Well,
wash?
I think to each other we smell okay, but I think the reality is we to anyone on the outside it's probably pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
You do have to be quite strict. It's mainly from a salt perspective. The salt, see either sweat or salt spray, it just corrodes your skin and it quite quickly causes salt sores and blisters.
Mm,
So on that basis, you kind of have to either constantly rinse off with fresh water or before you go to bed, a little baby wipe just to
absolutely
ensure that
fine.
you don't develop sores in places that you
Of
really don't want.
course.
Um,
No, crikey, absolutely not. That would be a disaster. Can you ever go in for a swim, or would that be mad?
Yeah, no, we do quite a lot actually. It's not really to go for a kind of a leisure swim, as it were.
No,
It's
no.
it's more we have to clean the bottom of the boat.
Right.
So it's amazing how quickly you get kind of barnacles or it's kind of they're more like little mussels, so little mollusks that
Oh
grow
yeah.
on the bottom of the hull. Yeah, and you have to jump in and kind of scrape down, take them off because they really slow the boat down.
Yeah.
So we try and do that maybe once a week, maybe 5 days, every five
Right.
days. But it's a bit disconcerting because we've seen quite a lot of sharks by this point. And
Oh, right.
the whole
Oh,
time you've got like the Jaws theme tune playing in your head.
aye. Oh,
Yeah,
that. Oh my gosh, I never even thought about that, but you're right. Have you seen whales? Have you seen lots of whales or
We have,
bigger
yeah, the wildlife.
mammals? Oh, it must be amazing.
yeah. No, I'll swap. I mean, I'm gonna swap with Lachlan
You're going to
because he'd love
swap?
to come
Of
and have a chat.
course. Of
But
course. Of
so
course.
lovely speaking to you, and thank you so much. Honestly, it's
No, no,
such an
no.
honour, bro,
I'll
to chat
say,
to
oh,
you. It really is.
don't be silly. This is fascinating. I'm loving this. The geek in me is having a blast
Oh,
asking all these
amazing.
questions because
Well,
it's just so interesting.
well, thank you so much, and we'll chat again soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
Ciao.
absolutely. But do we swap? Do we swap? So you've seen whales, massive
We
ones,
have.
huge ones, and do they sing? Can you hear them singing?
We haven't heard them sing yet, but we have heard them. Because even in quite a wild and stormy sea, it's remarkable how from quite a distance you can see the whale spouts.
Yeah, yeah.
You see the water up into there because it's quite. You become very familiar with all the sights that we see, which to be honest is just what you see now behind us. It's just rolling waves and breaking waves and ocean. So when you see a spout, everyone gets pretty excited on board.
I
Um,
know.
Unfortunately, they haven't. We're waiting for the day that one comes and joins us for a day and sort of cruises beside us and sings us a few tunes. But
That would
sadly,
be
that
lovely.
I
That would be
think
lovely.
Lorraine, it's lovely
Hello,
to see your
hello, love.
face.
You've been doing
I
all the work
know.
back there. How are you? How's your
I'm
hands? I
good.
keep asking about hands. Are your hands
Oh,
okay?
they're bearing up. They're bearing up. I was gonna say that I think maybe part of the reason we haven't had any whales alongside is Jamie's got his bagpipes, and I'm not sure if whales like the bagpipes.
I think they
I think
would.
they,
You think they
I
do?
actually,
they
Yeah.
love them.
yeah,
Okay.
I think they
That's
would.
my that's
I
my
think
guess. They love them.
yeah, you'd have to play them under the water though, which wouldn't really work. Maybe we have to work on that. Maybe we have to invent underwater bagpipes for all
Underwater
the sea
bagpipes. Like,
creatures.
yeah.
And then all the sea creatures would come and see you. So do you
Yeah.
play tunes and do you sing yourselves? Do you sing and tell stories and play
Yeah.
bagpipes and yeah and all of that? I love that. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I
What a
loved it.
strange picture you're
No, it
painting, but
is.
yeah, that's about right. Yeah. No, we've not sang as much as we. I think we play the same playlist every day. So we've got like there's like 30 songs in a playlist, and I don't know. There's something about like very familiar tunes. It's got classics,
Yeah.
Polynesia, some Scottish trad, kind of yeah, our
Cool.
favorite artists.
That's
And then I think we sing along to that, but we don't. We're actually about strangely as of tomorrow, we're gonna just, for curiosity's sake, we're gonna do 3 days of silence. So
complete
we're gonna have
silence.
complete silence. So we're gonna try and yeah, we're gonna see if so.
Really?
Yeah, we've been chatting about. We've got some sign language of if we want to change the course or if we want to go one up or two up or whatever. And then
Right.
yeah, no music, no audiobooks. We'll just see how it is. I mean, when do you
Oh,
get that opportunity?
do you know you're absolutely right? You're absolutely right. When would you? Now look, you're bobbing around as we said, the middle of nowhere. Do you get any birdies? Do you get any birds flying over? Do you get anything like that at all? Any albatrosses? Any sort of big things? Or do you not get that until you get close to land?
No, there's remarkably there've been birds have been the most consistent piece of wildlife that we've seen over the last 74 days. There's almost birds every day. They're quite often the same. Not entirely sure what they are, but they're not albatrosses. Unfortunately,
No.
we're pretty sure they're not albatross because
Right.
I think we know with the size of their wingspan. They're
Yeah, they're
definitely
huge.
terns.
They're
Oh yeah.
they're huge. But that would be again. It's fascinating, isn't it? Do you think
Yeah.
that you would have been able to do this if you hadn't done the big Atlantic one? Would it have been just too much to do this right away? Do you think
Yeah.
that's really stood you in good stead mentally as well as physically?
I think so. Yeah, I think I don't think we'd advise doing this crossing straight
Right.
in.
Mm.
I don't know. Like, I think if someone was just, I think such a big part of this kind of trip is things are always going to go wrong. Nothing ever goes to plan. So like,
Yeah.
we've had an array of issues with with it's not the boat. The boat is totally solid, but it's all the loose equipment, all the electrics. You
Right.
just you don't know what's gonna kind of go wrong. And I think it's very easy and on an Atlantic crossing, you know, we were doing that event, that rowing race, and
Yeah.
there is kind of it's unsupported, but there is sort of a safety net. There's a media boat which has got like a doctor on it, and you know, it's a bit of peace of mind, I think, more than anything else. But I
Yeah.
think if you're doing an unsupported of this length, I think it could get really overwhelming. If things went wrong and you're trying to problem solve in this kind of sea state, and you
Yeah.
know that really it's we are on our own. Like we're one of the in these kind of conditions. Ironically, like the most dangerous thing you can do is try and get rescued by a big tanker. So like we're this boat's like it's like a life raft. You know, it's the hull's broken up into sections, so
Oh,
you could chop it in half, and both halves would just float.
jeez,
It's
that's
really fun.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But then
great.
if you imagine in a huge swell, you've got this tiny little 30-foot flimsy rowing boat, and then you've got a huge tanker which is whatever 200 meters long, and they're trying to come alongside and rescue you. It's just like the
No.
chances of them just running you down or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you have to kind of, I think, self-sufficient. I think that's kind of the main challenge, isn't it? Yeah. I wanted to ask you, Lorraine.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Would you do something like this? Do you think? Are you a sea person, or I know you're very adventurous?
I'm a bit of a, I love, yeah, I don't think I could, there's not any way in God's earth I could do what you're doing. I mean, bad enough trying to sort of, there's a wee thing called the Swanee Ponds in Dundee, which is a tiny thing for children, and you've got
Yeah.
a pedalo. I might just about be able to do that, but I'm so fascinated by people that can do it. I'm obsessed by Ernest Shackleton. He's my absolute hero. And we were lucky
Oh,
enough, I know he's wonderful. And we were lucky enough to go
yeah.
to Antarctica, my husband and I, and we followed
Wow.
his voyage in a
No
ship. I mean,
way.
not in a tiny the wee James Caird, the wee teeny thing like that. So I'm
Wow.
always fascinated by it. And I mean, I'm 65 now, but I still feel I like to challenge myself. But you guys
Yeah.
have taken it to a whole other level. I
No, no, no.
completely,
I
this is like Premier League mad crazy,
no.
but
I
wonderful.
disagree.
I just think it's great people that do that sort of thing, and obviously doing it for such a brilliant cause, and a cause
Yeah.
that like doesn't really get, you're really shining a light on
Yeah.
something that's really important that I don't think
Yeah.
we do enough. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I can see the sea is just going like this all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Do you see other boats? Have you seen any other boats or ships?
No, we've seen remarkably little.
It's
We've
amazing, isn't
only
it?
in over 2 months we've only seen one aeroplane pass overhead, which was
Really?
actually which was only it was about a week ago, and but other than that we saw maybe
See, probably half a dozen in total.
half a dozen boats, and the majority of which were near the beginning. Just off the
Yeah.
coast of Peru. In the first week or two, and then there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. I don't think we saw a single thing until we were about a couple days from halfway, a couple days from the Marquesas Islands, which
Yeah.
was our first sighting of land. And there were obviously some boats cruising around there, and yeah, you get very excited.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
Unfortunately, they didn't see us, so they cruised on past, and Lachlan was
I was out standing at the back of the boat, like waving, like, "Hello, we're over
Oh,
here."
I
hello.
know. No. Do you not think
Yeah.
as well sometimes, like you guys, obviously this is a huge thing that you're doing, but you do have communication,
Yeah,
kinda, you're able to call, you can do all of these things. But see, when you
Yeah.
think about the folks in these islands that you're passing by,
Unbelievable.
and
Yeah.
they'd go into these wee ships and they don't know they don't know, they don't know. They don't know what they're going to
Yeah.
find or whether they're going to find
Oh,
anything. That's amazing, isn't it? That sort of
I know.
spirit of adventure. It's incredible.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, we actually have you heard of the Kentucky expedition?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, amazing.
So
Of course.
we set off from a yacht club in outside Lima called Yacht Club Peruano, and that is the exact place where the Kentucky set off from,
Jeez.
which is amazing. Yeah, and then obviously, yeah, that was exactly that. Like they didn't know exactly where they were going to land or what they, yeah. And then actually, a fun fact which we didn't realize, one of the guys, I think he was a Norwegian guy on the Kentucky, he actually went back after the expedition. It was before, was it? Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
It was before. It was the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay.
And him, sorry, I jumped in.
No, no, no.
Him and his partner or wife at the time, the island that we passed at halfway, which was called Fatu Hiva, which is the most southern island of the Marquesas. Him and his wife tried to live there for a year off the land,
Wow.
just on the island. And that, I mean, he must have. I don't know if that's where he got the inspiration to try and, essentially reenact what the South Pacific
Right.
Islands have been doing for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. The thing about you guys is, I don't. Will you ever? You won't be able to settle down after all this. You'll just go and do something else. You just do something else completely bizarre and
Well,
wonderful.
I hope none of our girlfriends watch this, or maybe mum and dad. I think
No,
they're all
no, this is the
praying.
last one. This is the last one. There's
Yeah,
not going
yeah,
to be
this is the last one.
any more. That's the
To be
thing.
fair, so funny story on that. So the last trip we got into Antigua in the Caribbean, and our mum was at the time living in Edinburgh, and she was kind of at the end of her job, and she came out to see us in, and then never left Antigua. So she moved to Antigua, yeah.
The
So I think
truth.
mum's more adventurous than any of us. She's
She
yeah,
sounds
she's remarkable.
great. She sounds
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
great. So
yeah,
she's
yeah.
staying there. Crikey, see what you've
Still there,
done.
yeah. So we keep joking with her that she's actually flying. She's going to Australia a bit early, so she's arriving in like a week. But we
Oh,
keep joking with
gee.
her that she's now going to be moving to Australia. She doesn't have a
All
choice.
the
Yeah,
places that you go to, she's going to end
I
up there.
know. Yeah,
Oh, that'll be, I'll
yeah.
tell you what, that'll be some welcome committee. That'll be
Oh well.
amazing.
It
Oh,
is a
God.
funny thing, though, as you say about like never settling down, because I think the three of us are very conflicted, in particular when you're out here. What we long for, so we share the three of us actually share a croft in the far northwest of Scotland, and all you long for is to be on the croft, doing simple things like digging up potatoes and fishing and like living a very simple, quiet life.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then when you're there, I think it's it's part of the human condition. When you're there, you want to be out on an adventure like this.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I think
Yeah.
we're ultimately conflicted, but I think it's a balance of the two is what makes us happy.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I
absolutely.
mean,
You don't have any kids yet, do you? The three of you. You don't
no,
have
we
any
don't.
children yet. No, you've
Maybe.
got to. You must. You owe it. You owe it to the gene pool of the world. You've got to do that and bring up your
What,
kids to be the same.
Lorraine? How many kids have you got? You've got the one?
I've got one. I've got one, my
Yeah.
Rosie, who is
Yeah.
31, and I've got a granddaughter who is
Oh, amazing! How is
fantastic.
that?
Actually, it's wonderful. She's nearly 10 months old, and she's just learned to
Wow.
clap her hands. So that is the main thing
Wow.
of the day. That's the big breaking news of the day. I know you probably don't care about everything else, but Billy can clap her hands now, so she's
Oh
very, very
my
clever.
goodness,
No,
that is
it's
huge.
great. It's great, and oh God, your
Yeah.
mum would be so delighted. No, it's brilliant.
Are they?
I think what you're doing is just great. I love the Scottish flag. I can see at the back when the waves are not coming up. Oh, it's terrible. But yeah, it's absolutely wonderful, and I hope what keeps you going is the amount of people that we got such a huge response to you guys being on. It was really
Oh.
good. It really
Well,
was.
I mean, it was amazing. Like straight off the interview, we just see a load of donations going on, and yeah, and people following us, and so I mean, it's
It's
people like
great.
yourself that are, I suppose, giving us a voice to, I suppose,
Wait,
spread awareness about the cause. So I think we're
listen.
just very grateful to you.
Never mind about me. Mark Wahlberg might be making a movie of you three. So who can we get? We have to get. Is Brad Pitt? I think Brad Pitt's too old now to play you. Brad Pitt's
Okay,
too old.
yeah,
George Clooney is definitely too old. I'm
okay,
trying
yeah,
to think who could. The Helmsworths. Could have we got another one? Are there three Helmsworths
Yeah,
or only
yeah, yeah,
two?
yeah, sure.
Are there
there
three?
are actually. There's three of them. Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Then that's it.
I don't know if the third brother's an actor, but I'm sure we can convince.
I'm sure I'm a simple soul. I'm sure he can play me.
I'm sure he'd be fine. Just get him to roll all the time. Don't
Yeah,
give him
yeah,
any
he can roll.
dialogue. Just
Yeah,
get him to.
yeah,
Wasn't that
yeah.
brilliant though that he was chatting away to you? I thought that was
Unbelievable.
great.
We actually chatted to him the other. So we got another message from obviously like the Shore team are, they're doing an amazing job at setting these conversations up behind the scenes. We're on the oars, but they're doing all the hard yards. But yeah, we got a message on a Monday morning saying important chat later this morning. Not going to tell you who it is. we come in and it's Mark. He's just checking in,
Amazing.
asking how we're getting on, and
I
yeah,
know, he was
it's
lovely as
bizarre.
well. He was
He's
really
great.
good.
Have
He
you
was
chatted
asking
to him?
really good
Yeah.
questions and chatting away. I just think it would be a great. Are you? I was going to ask you actually. You really should write a book. I mean, are you thinking about a book? Are
Oh,
you thinking about something like that? I mean, obviously you've got a lot of footage that you can put together, but for
yeah.
maybe for YouTube or whatever, or a doco or something. But you really
You know,
you should think about that, about writing a wee book.
I think yeah. I think
You
if you'd
should.
asked us that at the very beginning of this journey, I think the three of us would have quite happily said, "Nah, we're not. None of us have a good enough story to tell or good
Oh,
enough to
you've got
write
a
a book."
great story to
But
tell.
it's funny every day we've been doing a ship's log, which
Good.
we've been sharing with the core group of followers. People can subscribe to it on our website. But it's called
Oh,
the
cool.
ship's log, and we take
Oh, you
turns.
should do that.
So each of us write one every 3 days.
Right.
And it's been a really nice process because we're not reading each other's, so we don't know what the others have said or what they're thinking or what thoughts they're putting down to paper.
Well,
And
just do that.
it's had and
Just put that
yeah, and
out.
it's had a really
That'd
good
be
response.
amazing. Yeah, just put that out with, and you could put some photos in it as well. That'd be a brilliant thing to
Yeah,
do. And people be really, people are really, really interested. I think now as well, more than ever, because we do lead such, I don't mean boring lives, but quite restricted lives. There's not
uh-huh.
many people obviously that do what you
Yeah,
do, but even
mhm,
in a sort of smaller way, a lot of people aren't doing that. There's so many people who are not climbing hills or
yeah,
going swimming
yeah,
in the sea or whatever it may be. There's a lot of people not
yeah,
doing that, so they can sort of live vicariously through your
yeah.
your adventures.
Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask you. I know that you've got a bestseller. What have you got? Any tips? What are your tips for writing well?
Do you know? Well, mine are novels rather than real life.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, I think you've done the hard graft already without even knowing it. Because what I was always told is, I know it sounds so basic and so simple, just get the words down. It doesn't actually
Yeah,
matter if they're making that much sense, because
yeah,
you can always go over it and over it and over it. But until
yeah,
you actually start and get the word, and that, I know that sounds so obvious, it's not true,
yeah, yeah.
but you can overthink it sometimes. And I just sit
Mhm,
on my little iPad and just blast it away sometimes. And
yeah,
sometimes you come back the next day and think, what a load of old toot is that? And you get rid of it. But at least you're started the whole process. But the thing about you guys
yeah.
is you've already done it. Because you're writing it
Oh,
already. All it needs to be is maybe a wee bit embellished, and there you
yeah.
are.
yeah.
I mean, we probably need
It's
a good editor. Yeah,
yeah, well, I know a very, 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 very good editor. So if you did
yeah,
need one, you just got to let me know, because she's great. But yeah,
yeah.
you should do things like that. It's fantastic, and I hope you get a great welcoming committee. I was going to say to you, is it all right if we run a little clip of this tomorrow, just
Oh,
to say that I
please
spoke to
do.
you and
Yeah,
that I ate my
that's
tea. I didn't eat all of my tea, I'm afraid, but I did
no,
eat
no,
I did
no.
eat
There's
some of
about
it.
1,000 calories in there.
It's
Is there?
quite calorific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Christ,
quite
is
calorific.
there? Jesus, and I'm the size of an elephant. I have to not do. Of course, because you need to
Yeah, we
boost
need.
yourself. It's got to be full of things to keep you going. Loads of protein, I would think, and all
Yeah,
sorts of stuff that you get. Yep.
exactly.
Right. See, when you land, what's the first thing that you want to eat and the first thing that you want to drink?
I
Um,
I definitely I've been dreaming about pizzas for so long. Like
Oh, love.
we all spent quite a long time studied in Glasgow, and there's a pizzeria called Pisano. You might
Yes.
be familiar with, and
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I think a Pisano style, maybe slightly crispier crusts, just super
Right.
simple, really good mozzarella, nice tomato base, drizzle of olive oil. Wow,
Oh,
yeah.
that'll keep you
that's
awake at
probably like
night.
What have you got? What have you got on the side?
I've got on the side. I've got a stack of blueberry pancakes with 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 crispy bacon and maple syrup.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
Are you driving each other crazy? Just
This is
food porn. Just food
we're
porn.
we're we're breaking a rule here that we've got a rule that there's no talking about food until the last 1,000 miles, and Jamie's coming right out.
I know, with
Yeah.
pizza and a freezing cold beer. That has to happen.
Oh,
Many,
freezing beer,
many, many freezing
salad.
cold beers. That's for
many
sure.
many many cold beers. Just something cold would be like because it's so warm. It's like a big
Yeah.
fruit salad. Oh,
Mm.
just yeah.
But
We need to stop.
you'll get that
Yeah,
very, very, very soon. Very soon.
yeah.
Not that soon,
Exactly.
but quite soon. Listen, I'm going to have to. I could talk to you forever and ever and hours and hours.
I
But I
know,
have
but
got to go and I have got to go to bed because I'm a sad person. I've got the social life
Lorraine,
of a toddler. The social life of a toddler
but
because I need to
you
go to
must get
bed.
up. What time do you get up? You must get up
Oh,
really
it's
early.
not too bad now, about 5,
Yeah.
which is not
Yeah.
bad. Not bad. What
It's
time are you guys? Must be getting up all over the place. You must not have a.
today. You're up at 4. Today, no, today I was up at 3:30.
See, yeah,
3:30.
that's so
Yeah.
so hard. It really is. No, it's
Yeah.
good. But yeah, but
Well,
I'm getting up to talk to nonsense to people and then meeting the
no,
people that
you.
Way harder.
That's so much harder.
away. But we'll need to
You're
get you. Well,
remarkable.
we'll need to do a wee chat with you if it's okay when you. I mean, again, we can do another chat whenever you like. Just let me know. But also when you're in Sydney, and then obviously as
Yeah.
soon as you come back, we need to get you
Yeah.
in the studio, and I'll have tons of
Oh.
pizza for you, loads of pizza and loads of cold beers
We would
early in the
love that.
morning. But you need to
We
do
would
that.
absolutely love that.
And listen,
Yeah.
guys, great to talk to you. Really, really good to talk to you.
Yes.
I think, of course, you know what I think of you. I think you're fantastic.
Well,
And what you're doing is just amazing. It's just wonderful.
we would like to say just how grateful we are for you making the time. It's
Don't be daft.
you
Don't be
we
daft.
can't imagine how busy you are. So
Oh
thank you
gosh,
so
away.
much.
This is great. I can't wait to talk to you again because I've got so many questions to ask you. I'm sorry, I am a nuisance and a terrible geek. But we'll talk soon. Yeah, will we talk soon? I mean,
Lorraine, thank you,
if
Lorraine.
you can fit me in with all the A-lister,
You're
Hollywood
top of the list.
superstars.
You are top of the list. Yeah.
Behave yourself. Right, look after yourself and
Thank you, Lorraine.
take care of
All right.
yourself. Wave to the whales for me and I'll talk to you
Yeah,
soon.
we will. We will. We'll
Cheers.
say Lorraine says hi.